Hello and welcome back to Crafters TV. I hope you're keeping warm wherever you are. It's a bit chilly here. We've made sure all the heating's turned up and we're trying to keep nice and toasty warm, and I hope you are too. Now, are you ready for a fun 2 hours? It's going to be amazing. I'm not going to waffle on too much because I'm going to let our Debbie get cracking on this because there's quite a little bit of work. We're going to come back, and I think what I'll do is I'll let Debbie get started and then we can have a look at some finished samples and things in a few minutes, but just so that she can do that. So, just so that you know, this is our craft along with our embroidered die set. So you've got the 4 dies, and we also sell the threads if you want, but you can be bringing in your own threads if you would rather. It's entirely up to you. Don't those look beautiful? Look at the colours of all those threads. Aren't they absolutely amazing? Now, you get 2 dies in each one. You get the outer and the inner, so, you know, you can use them as you see fit. So you can cut them into your card or you can cut them out of your card. It's entirely up to you. So, just so that you know, we've changed. It's now our Gracie on socials. So, hi Grace, nice to have you with us. And we've also got watching, we've got Lynn Harvey saying hi again. We've got Christine Mahoney, hello again. Shadaya saying hello, lovely Corrine, Fab Debbie, my special friends of Crafters TV and Crafters TV crew. And she said, oh, question mark on the socials. It's Grace. And Shadaya says it's 27 degrees and snowing lightly in Ottawa, Canada. Now, you get a lot of snow, don't you? It's just cold here, just very, very cold. So I'm going to throw to our Debbie in a minute to show you, but these are the dies that she's going to be using. So you've got swirly leaves, and what they will do, and Debbie's going to show you how they work, what they do is they die cut the shape and also all of the holes for you to do your threading, your embroidery through. So you've got beautiful butterflies, absolutely gorgeous. You've got wreath of roses. That's pretty, isn't it? Now, if you want to, you can also colour these bits in before you do your embroidery, and that looks really, really pretty. And the one that Debbie's going to use is our floral heart. Now, this adds an extra texture to your project. So you've got your paper craft, you've got your card, but we're now adding in our threads and our embroidery. So it's really making everything gorgeous and tactile and really three-dimensional. So as I said, you get the 2 dies, you get the outer and then the inner. You also, then it cuts like this, and it cuts your lovely aperture, and if you use the outer die, that would cut it out just like that. So I've given her a name check a couple of times, and so let's go over and see what Debbie's doing over there. What have you got to show us there, Debbie?
So, we're a difficult one, this, because I thought I love the idea of an embroidery die that's going to make it really easy for you to achieve looks, whether you're using real thread or faux thread. And when I say faux thread, I mean like a faux technique where you could actually just cheat and do it with pens. They're a lovely set of dies. And I'm thinking, do I make a card? Do I make a... I were umming and ahhing, but I thought, do you know what? I'm writing to my scrapbook in a minute, so I'm going to do a scrapbook page. I've actually fetched a personal picture that I'm going to put in myself, but I've used just a generic picture for the project to show you what we're going to be doing. So obviously the whole idea of this is to strip it back and show you how to do the threading with these gorgeous dies. You take a picture of your own choice. I've gone with the art frame, but we do have 4 designs. We've got 2 beautiful theme designs and then 2 frames in there as well.
So you've got the floral heart, as you said, the wreath of roses, the beautiful butterflies and the swirly leaves.
Yeah, and so this is what we're going to be concentrating on. All this background is going to just be the little bit that we're just going to do to decorate the picture. But I've kept it quite plain because, I say plain, because I think what the majority of this craft along is going to be taken up with is the threading. The threading, using all the different colours, and that's the thing. What I'm going to say is we've got 2 hours. Whether we get it done in the full 2 hours will be a different matter because it depends on how quick you sew. I want you to go at your own leisure. And what I want you to take from this is just a little idea on how you can use them. Corrine's got some amazing samples over there to show you all the different ways that you can use them. But what I want you to do is think about which one you're going to use. If you're going to use it for a scrapbook page, then I suggest using one of the frames. So you either use the heart frame or that other lovely one, and off the top of my head I can't remember which one it is, Corrine, because it's just completely left.
Which one? The roses?
The roses, isn't it? The roses, the lovely circular one. So it's entirely up to you what you do if you've got these. If you haven't got these, obviously there's always the option to go over onto the website. You can do that at any point at your own pleasure. What we're just going to do is take it back step by step and go through the process of this with the terms of threading. I will just lay it out there right now. I am not a sewer, I am not an embroiderist or anything like that. I am literally somebody who loves paper crafting and loves to take a different kind of form into crafting, which is what these dies absolutely do for you. So don't shoot me if you think that my threading's not the best. I'm just going to show you how it is. That's what this craft along is all about. It's about having a bit of fun, trying a new technique, adapt it to how you want to use it. I'm going to use the basic of stitches. Yeah. I said I would have to, with it being 2 hours, we would have to, because do you know when we talk about mindful crafting, we had to have these in. Because today, at some point, when the whole idea of Saturday is about mindful crafting, these are definitely one of those dies when you're doing a bit of stitching, a bit of threading, is a very mindful craft. Anybody who's been embroidering for years will tell you. They'll tell you how lovely it is to take your mindset out of other things going off around you and just have pure enjoyment, because that's what this is all about, and that's exactly what this craft along's about. So enough talking from me. I'm going to throw back to our lovely Corrine while we get ready. I'm going to use the heart design and I'm going to use some craft card, but Corrine's going to run through the list of everything that you're going to need if you want to copy what I've chosen. If you don't, it's entirely up to you. In terms of the dies and the format and the papers, that's your choice. That's your, you know, how you want to interpret your scrapbook page. But we're going to give you a bit of an idea how to do those stitches. And we'll get started in a second.
Okay, so if you want to make your project exactly like Debbie, then this is what you're going to need. Oh, we're starting with the additional elements. Okay, so she's used the Angel Collection 12x12 paper pad as her background, some 12x12 textured cardstock from the pastels, multi-purpose card and craft card. And there is also a little bit of copier paper in there. Tacky glue with the fine tip applicator, all-purpose glue, 3D glue gel and foam pads, also some dotty tape pen and low-tack tape. Also, the next one is, just a minute, it's going to come over to, oh, there you go, right to the first bit, is you'll need your Gemini Floral Heart Embroidery Frames die, and as Debbie said, you can swap it round for any of the others. Your Rainbow Embroidery Thread Pack, but don't worry if you want to swap in some of your own. Now they use the Gingham Lace Grande Edgeables just to use on that background, the Connecting with Love die, Stitched Edge Heart dies, and then in the Water Reactive Friar Brown, Pink Tulip and Sandstorm, and then in the Opaque Pigment Ink Pad Pure White, and our Gold Brown Blend Tri Brush. And the final little bits that you will need just to complete doing this craft along is some gems, your die cutting machine, obviously we're using the Gemini, a printer to print out your picture, unless you've already got one, your needle, poker tool, scissors, a blending tool, guillotine, ruler, pencil, and if you're like me, you need your tweezers as well to hold all those little bits. So, you know, pick out there what you've got, swap round what you haven't, and then you'll be good to go. And I think our Debbie is good to go to show us how we get started.
Yeah. So we're going to take with the heart frame, and I've got my craft card. So this is the design I've chosen. I've chosen the floral heart. It comes in 2 parts, so if you did want to just cut into cardstock, you can absolutely do that with this piece. But I want a proper full-on frame that comes out, so that's why we've got the additional. And it does come from our Creator card range. So as you can see at top there, it's our Creator card range. So the 2 pieces means that when you use them together in conjunction with each other, it creates a frame. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Now it's up to you whether you use, and maybe if it's your first time, maybe cut it out into white cardstock, something quite bright. I've gone with a craft card, but it's absolutely fine. And what I'm going to do is just hold those down and die cut those through. So let's just take our low tack tape to hold it into place, and then we're going to run this through our Gemini machine. It is a thin metal die, so you will need to bring in your combination plates for a thin metal die. I've got my plastic shim, my magnetic shim, and then the cutting plate on the top.
So all of these will go through your junior size?
Yes, they will,
or your
yes.
MIDI?
Yeah, junior or MIDI. Anything larger, anything smaller, no.
Yeah.
Because they're large dies, including the what I call the other frame ones. You know, the butterfly one.
Yes.
What's the other one? I can't remember off the top of my head again. How bad is it that I can't remember?
Beautiful butterflies and swirling leaves.
Thank you, yes, yeah. So when you take that off now, what you'll find is, and you'll find on your plate lots of little cut-in little pieces. I know you can't really see it there, but you just give your plate a good old clean. And then we're going to take off the low tack tape and remove our frame from the die. So let's go in.
I find these are really easy to remove because you've got the outer frame. It almost gives you that little bit to grab hold of, doesn't it?
Absolutely. So that's about the only die cutting we're going to be doing throughout this craft along. Crazy, isn't it? Normally there's like lots of die cutting and all those kind of things. And you can see, with the exception of maybe just a couple, and that's when you'll just bring in your poker tool, because what you need to do is make sure you've got clear holes, because this is what's going to be your threading template. Shall we call it a template?
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
But again, I suppose if you haven't, when you're sewing, doing your embroidery, your needle's going to clear the holes anyway,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. So don't worry too much. And I always find bits I don't know about yourself, Corrine, but I usually find them, I think I've got them all, and then I see that I haven't got them all, because it almost like one bounces back in. Yeah, you go over that area and you think, hang on a minute, I saw you a second ago, but now you've disappeared, and look, there you go. Absolutely clean and ready to go. Now, on all of your designs, and I'll just bring in just for a second, you'll see you even get a little template of how you could do this. I know you're good. Have you shown some of the lovely samples?
Not
Corrine?
yet.
Don't worry, because we'll
minute.
show you lots of different ways that you're going to be able to do this. So it gives you, on the front, it gives you a little sheet in there to maybe copy, if you want to copy these different styles. But I'm just going to show you back in just for a second. If you look at the design that I've chosen to do, I've not copied everything that's on there. So can you see these full flowers? You've got options to do the full petals and then the pieces that go in, whereas I've just chosen to do them like can you see what I mean? Yeah. Without the outer frame.
Yes, I know what you mean. Yeah. Just so, straight lines.
Exactly. So, and I am doing, the reason why I've chosen straight lines for this particular design is this might be the first time you've picked up one of these dies, first time you're trying to do one. So I wanted to simplify it, and that's the simplest way I could do it, rather than starting. But once you've developed your skill, and once you've developed into, you can have a practice and a play. And we've gone with the threads that come with the kit, but like Corrine said, you absolutely can choose any threads. There's beautiful glitter threads. I know you've got a lovely sample of a glitter thread one. There's lots of threads there out on the market, not necessarily the threading ones that you would use with embroidery, but there's lots of threads out there that you can absolutely use if you wish to do so. So just to get started, we're going to keep it nice and simple. And where I'm going to start with my pieces to keep it even more nice and simple is we're going to start with that outer green line that you can see just running through that centre, and we'll come on to all those other pieces in a second. Now, my little top tip as well is I'm just going to bring this in just for a second on some white cardstock so you can see it a bit more clearer. But on here, when you start to look at it, it just looks like a series of dots, and your eyes can start to literally play havoc with you. Mine especially. I've often commented about it, but my eyes aren't the best, and they genuinely aren't. So sometimes I look at this and think, I don't know where the starting point is. Well, my little template, and I've just literally just done this very quickly before the show, I do a separate one, and when I've decided on the design that I'm going to do, I literally just take a little black marker and go around in terms of how, and I'm just going to show you what I mean by that.
So is that the one you're going to stitch onto?
No, I'm not going to stitch onto it. I'm just using it as a little at the side of me, just to help me.
You could do that on copier paper.
Could do it on copier paper, yeah. I've just chosen the same medium just because of how, you know, I wanted to show you what I mean by that. Because, like I said, when you've got it side by side, Corrine, it just looks like dots. Yeah. Your eyes can, honestly, they will play tricks on you, I can promise you. Once you start threading and once you've got a little pattern, it's just to get yourself going. Of course, you can use this, but again, I found it a little bit difficult to differentiate between. So that's why I took my little, and I've gone with an art line. I've just used one of the brush marker pens just to go on there and give myself a little indication of where I wanted to go.
Really good tip, that.
Yeah, it's just to get yourself started. It's all about that, getting yourself started. So if I just show you what I mean, on there you've got a little, so you've got lots of different options that you can do this with, but because I'm doing the straight stitch, I'm just going to show you what I mean by having a little template at the side of you, so that's one petal that I'm going to concentrate with the straight lines. Then moving on to that next one, it's exactly the same, and it's just that little template. It's just to get you going until you know what you're doing, and no doubt once you've been doing it for a while, you'll absolutely, you know, come to grips with this and how to do it.
And until you want to change your stitches up,
yes,
this will last you for lots of projects.
Yes.
I would just put that back in your die packet.
And that's exactly,
then you've got it, haven't you? So the next time it's going to be a bit quicker, and the next time. And then if you come up with a different design, put that in and put that in the packet as well.
Exactly, because the same floral down here, this is when you can start to play. So you would take your stitching and you would concentrate on petals. So you could use that to do your template. Again, I'm keeping mine really quite straightforward and quite simple in terms of they're just going to be straight edge stitches. But that's a little top tip for you just before we get started on possibly how you could use that and create that piece. Now the next thing, thread. What thread are you going to choose? So we've chosen, and I've got myself, I used to do this with cross stitch, Corrine. I don't know about yourself if you've ever done it, but I always used to have some already split ready and popped them onto the side, which does make life a little bit easier. But you've got your threads. So you can see you've got all your choice of your threads in here. Again, I've just got what I call a not split section. But again, it's just to get yourself all ready for this. Now, there's lots of top tips, and I know that there's different ways that you can separate your thread. I know you had a different way, Corrine, didn't you?
Because it didn't work as well as I'd hoped it would when I was showing you.
It's all about just finding a technique that works for you. And there's plenty of people out there who do this properly and who do this a lot, will be able to help you in terms of how to get it. Now, I know you said, Corrine, you grabbed hold of 2, because this comes in a thread of 6. So can you see that you've got, but they're not like a straightforward up and down, they're intertwined with each other. And
they sort of rotate round,
yes,
don't they?
they do. And I know you said when you splitted it, Corrine, you pulled upwards to try and make it that little bit easier to separate between the two. And as Corrine so rightly showed me earlier on, it was a great way of doing it. So again, just to separate that, you're just going to then take off, and I'll just take off a little bit because I don't want all of it. But yeah, we've separated those. So that's what you need to do as well when you come in. Now, the rest, again, threading, me and needles, we don't get on.
So could I stitch with all 6 threads?
You can, but I'm going to be totally honest, if you stick with 6 threads, it's going to be thick, it's going to be bulky.
Especially when you're going through the same hole multiple times.
And when you think about the same hole and the multiple times that you're going to go through it, you want it to be thinner. So that's why we give you a little top tip, and it's on the sheet. We tell you and we recommend a splitting to work with 2 strands together on each time. Now,
but it also makes your threads go further, doesn't it?
Exactly it. So the threads, even though there's a lot of threads in that package, believe you me, there's a ton. I'll let you do the figures, Corrine, because I've completely forgot yet again how many we've got on there. But you've got a lot of thread to be working with. But to get the optimum results in terms of your stitches, we recommend 2 thread for each time you use this. So that's another little top tip there. And then you had a top tip for me, Corrine, about threading my needle, because I told you, didn't I, have problems with threading needles.
Yes.
And you said, if I remember rightly now, you said use the tip, and did you say go in with the tip so that you end up with a loop? How did you do it now?
I folded my thread in half because I had single thickness.
That was it. Yes,
I
that
had
was
my
it.
thread to
you
a single
threaded it
thickness.
through, didn't you? So that you and you can do it with your because it turns it into 4, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But instead of having knots, you said about unsightly knots.
So you do it like that.
Yeah.
Thread your needle over those ends.
Yeah.
You've got 4 threads there, so I'm not sure.
We'll try. We'll give it a go. There's lots of things out there as well. And again, when I used to cross stitch, and it's I say many moons ago, I haven't picked a cross stitch up for a long time. But I like a bigger, what's it called, a bigger eye.
Yeah.
So if you have a bigger eye, and there is lots of needles out there that have those bigger eyes out there, don't be struggling with something that you can't see. But if I thread both of those ends through, Corrine gave me a lovely little tip in terms of, so I don't get any knots and things like that. So I'm going to try and just thread that through where I get both at the same time. Might be a bit tricky with my eyes because including, can I just tell you, the lights in here are insanely bright.
Yeah.
We've got, in fact, have I got pointing down at me at the minute? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's about 8, isn't there, pointing down at me, which can make it quite difficult. So threading it through with all 4, and I will keep trying that, Corrine, while I'm just going to try, because I've even forgot. Of all the things with the craft along, I forgot my needle threader. Oh. I know, producer Charlotte, I know. We've got Charlotte, who usually on the joystick is producing us, aren't you?
She's on both today.
Oh, she's doing both? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Do you know, I completely forgot, because she's on her own, isn't she?
Yeah.
But yeah, when you thread it through, you've then got a place where you can loop it through, so you've got a knot.
Tie knots.
Yeah. I'm still struggling with it, Corrine, so I'm going to just do my normal two. Yeah, because I'm
You see, if you
struggling.
had a lot of needles and there were some, I could be threading your needles
I
for
know,
you.
and you'd think in here, with our lovely Becky with sewing, you'd think we'd have needles and threading things around, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You think that would be a normal everyday occurrence around a craft studio. We're still not, because we've had a few visitors today, haven't we?
We have.
Who thought it was a shop still.
Turning up for our shop that doesn't exist. So, there you go. So just let you know, there's 8 metres or 26 feet on each of the sheens of thread. So you've got 12 sheens. So that's 96 metres in total. Now, if you are splitting them into 3, you've got just shy of 300. You've got 288 metres.
Wow. I'm going to say, are you doing the maths there?
Of thread. If you split each one into 2 threads.
Yes.
Because each one suddenly becomes 24 metres long, doesn't it? Because you've got 8, 8 and 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Does
that's
that
right.
make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
It does in my head.
Right, well, I managed to thread.
Oh, you threaded it?
I'm threaded
Brilliant.
through, yes.
Right.
Not your way, but I did like your tip. I thought your tip was absolutely an incredible tip there. So if you have got a bigger eye, you could absolutely put your 4 pieces through and then thread it so it loops it and has an invisible knot, so to speak. I thought that were a really lovely top tip that you gave me earlier on. So let's get stitching. So what we're going to do is we're going to concentrate. Now, again, I'm just going to bring in my little piece here so I can show you what I mean by this straight. We're going to concentrate on these pieces that go around the edges of the love heart, and it's almost like the flowers that intertwine,
the vine, isn't it? It's
yes,
the vine.
yeah. Thank you, because you're very good with your words. So when we're coming up,
Carolyn Wilson says making up a pattern is a brilliant tip. She really likes your tip.
Yeah, it's just so, like I said, and I haven't completed it all because I just wanted to be able to show you. But that's how I work at home with mine. So we're just going to go in and literally now, when you see where you started, I've got my starting point just here, and we're going to go in and out and back on themselves. So it's like I can't remember the name of the stitch for this one.
It's not a running stitch, is it? Is it blanket stitch?
A blanket stitch?
I think.
I told you this. I did the launch for these, and I said to you I was absolutely
They put 2
hopeless.
non-sewers on this show.
I know.
So what do? Do you hold your end or do you tape it down?
You can tape it, you can stick it or knot it. And I would normally knot it, but I'm quite happy with where I'm going. So I've gone up on that next door and back in on itself.
Yeah.
And you could get a nice little hoop look when you push it through the centre of that thread. So what we're just going to do is concentrate on going up the next hole. I'm going to be careful how I use my language today. Yeah, up that hole and down back through the next one.
Yeah.
And
so
then
you can see straight away now why you need to split your threads, can't you? Because you've already doubled up on every hole.
Yes, absolutely. And so when you look at that now, we've got those 3. So what I'm going to do is and I'm not going to do stop and start, stop and start. I'm going to continue that thread all the way around. So when we now look at the next place where that next line is, and if I just bring in my pencil again to show you, I've done my 3. And then the next one that I want to go with it's a bit further up here. And this is why I say having this little template will really, really help in terms of where you want your stitch to start. So even if you want to help yourself, grab a pencil and just put yourself a little mark down so that you know where you're going to come up through the next one as well.
No one's going to see it, are they?
Nobody's going to see it other than you. Yeah, exactly that. So I'm going to pick up my needle again. And then we're going to start and we're going to go back up. So again, like I said, at the end of it as well, we'll tidy all this little bit piece up at the end. And I know that there's people out there that are, you know, do stitching and do they call it, are they embroiderists? Is that a word? Is that a word I've just made up? Sounds about right, doesn't it? Yeah.
Embroiderist.
Right.
Somebody who does embroidery is an embroiderist.
Yes, so there'll be people out there that can do those fancy stitches and things like that. But we wanted it to be a paper craft die that anybody could try and have a go at this mindful craft. And I think we've succeeded with these dies because they are so lovely to work with. And like I said, I'm not a professional by any way, shape or form. And again, if you want helping yourself, just turn it underneath so you know exactly where the hole... Depends on how good your eyesight is, I would imagine. I mean, I've got some, I call them my readers. Do you have the same, Corrine, or yours?
No, I'm on varifocals.
Yes, so they're the ones where you can see close as well as long. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah.
My long distance isn't too bad, actually. It's my close.
Yes.
It's blind as a bat.
Me too.
When I lie in bed in the morning and I wake up to look at the time and I go, Colin, what time is it? And he goes, you're so blind.
So again, I'm just going to get my pencil mark just to show you where we're going to go. And you'll actually see, because you'll see form like a leaf form.
Yeah,
you'll see like a flower
leaf,
form. Yeah, it's just when you look at it initially to start with, it's like a massive dots, and it's like, oh my days, which is why, like I say, having yourself a little template to work from will be ideal. So I know that I'm going to come up to this end here, and my 4 little dots that are going to connect are there. And it's just that little help until you get more familiar with it and where it sits, how you can do it. And like I said, I'm not going to worry about all of this behind the back. That's not the nature. Obviously this is something that you'll pick up as you go along, but all we're going to do is literally back and forth, up the next hole, back into that hole and down, and exactly the same. Push through, Debbie, push through, that would help. Back and forth with your 3 or 4 stitches. So some of that's a 3.
I'm looking here on the these finished samples I've got here, and the bit that you're doing, I can see some that are 3 long,
some
5
3
long.
Yeah,
I've
some
got
that are 3.
7 or 8 long. So it's not a uniform size, and yeah. So I think it's a case of just, like you've done, doing that template will really help you.
Yeah, and I've realised I've missed a couple out, so I'm going to go back on myself. I normally wouldn't do that. Yeah, but you can. Rather than unthreading, I'm not going to, because I just think, you know, this is going to take a while to sort with anyway, so what we're just going to do is go back in on itself. It's not going to hurt it too much. No, not
We've
at all.
got loads of people here with us today. It's absolutely great. Oh, blimey, we've got loads of people here. So let me see, while Debbie's just doing that, I think we said, did we say Beth says hello? So does Olga. Eileen Herdenaz says, good morning everyone from Puerto Rico. Alison Lee is hello. Corrine Debby and Social and everyone else. Pamela's good afternoon everyone. So Pamela, I'm guessing, could be in the UK if she's saying good afternoon.
She could well be.
Shadaya says, Debbie, I did embroidery as a kid in a Catholic school. Every day was sewing day. The nuns kept us very busy. There you are. Karen says, hello everyone. I haven't been able to craft for over a week and I'm going through withdrawals. I'm in the middle of doing a remodel for my craft room. Well, if ever there was a reason you couldn't craft, remodeling your craft room is a good reason.
Yes.
That's a very good reason.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to neaten up those ends. We'll finish off all the neatening up later on, but I now need to start rethreading. This I know that this is not going to last me, so I'm going to take that off.
Yeah.
And we're going to rethread. Now, Jake said he'd fetch the
Do you see it?
We shall see. He's even fetched me a needling, God love him.
Another needle?
I'm not sure if that eye for me is going to be the right eye. Because it's a bit little, but God love him. Thank you for thinking of me. But yes, all I'm going to do is just rethread. So I don't know if you want to be showing some samples, Corrine, or anything like that.
We'll go through the comments. So we have, well, I've got a question for you in a minute. Got Myra said, lovely to see Corrine back. Hope you are better. Such a calming voice. Well, thank you very much. That's very kind. Yeah, I was a bit poorly just after Christmas as well. Absolutely fine now. I just seem to pick it up a couple of times. I don't think I shook it off properly. Barbara says hello from Indiana. Right. Quick question while you're threading, Debbie, if you can talk and thread.
I'll try.
Sylvia says, as a newbie and going by the manual, I put the magnetic shim on top of the die and then the plastic shim. She's talking about the Gemini.
Oh, right, yes.
Is it a better way of doing it the way Debbie has just done? So you always do... Can I just stop and just explain, yeah?
Is that okay? So I'll visually show you what I do with mine. And this is only because, so in your manual, and right, really good question. So in your manual, let me just find, what did I do with the die?
Imagine the die.
We're going to imagine a die is what we're going to do because Debbie's put the die down, can't remember what she's done with it. In fact, I'll use my little template. In the booklet, it will say you put your clear shim, so your cutting plate, then you put your plastic shim, then you put your magnetic shim, and then you have your die with your blade facing upwards, okay? And then you put your paper over the top and then your cutting plate.
Right.
However, I can't see anything. I struggle.
Agree.
Now, it's perfect for when you're using your magnetic grid. So if I just turn it over just for a second. So if you know you've got a 5x5 card, you can place your die... Oh, Debbie, it's under here after all that. So say this was a 5x5 and I wanted to place that in the centre because it's a strong magnet, can I tell you? Yeah, you can place it and then you can put your 5x card over it and then you'll know you're okay.
Yeah.
However, I personally prefer to pop my cutting plate with my cardstock down and then the die on the top with the blade facing down into there, so that takes the brunt of the cut. And then you can use that. So if you don't want to use anything with tape, you can put that on the top and it'll secure it. Danger there is it could move slightly. Power of the machine is absolutely phenomenal. However, I don't want to use it that way, so that's how I put my plastic shim, then the magnetic shim. There's no right or wrong way.
As long as they're both inside
As long
the
as they're
sandwich,
inside, exactly
that's all
right.
that counts.
It's exactly it. You'll just see some of us doing it in different ways. None of us are more of an expert than the other. We find what way works for us.
I find when I'm embossing, I don't like my magnetic shim next to my die because when I take my magnetic shim off to put my rubber mat in, I end up pulling off the die as well sometimes. So it moves. So I always make sure, like you, I've got my plastic shim next to it.
Yes.
So Sylvia, that's what we're saying. It's about having the combination, and you should always have, apart from when you're doing a 3D embossing folder, because that's slightly different, you should always have your two clear cutting plates on the outside. Because of the pressure, it needs those strong plates on the outside. So yeah, so it's whichever way inside the sandwich works for you, and so long as you're cutting into those clear plates. So I hope that helps and we didn't get it a little bit too confusing there. Shudaya says, oh Debbie, have you found your pokey tool?
Yes, I have.
Where did you find it?
It was at the bottom of my bag.
At the bottom of your bag, okay. So you had it all the time?
I had it all the time, yes.
Okay.
I thought I'd actually lost my... Do you know what I mean? One that I had made, I thought I'd lost it, and I was like, oh, my Lord. I got really upset because I love that poker tool. And mainly it's because of... I've talked about it a lot, but with carpal tunnel, I struggle sometimes. So I like a chunkier one to hold on to. That's the only reason why I had a purpose, because we've got poker tools aplenty, but for me personally, for a grip, I need something that's got something to be able to grip with, so it doesn't hurt. I said that hurt as much because that sounds ridiculous when I say it like that, but you know what I mean, don't you? Yeah.
We've got Charlotte Clark says, good morning all from Georgia. Hope you're doing well. Yes, we are. I always said, Carolyn said that platinum is a brilliant tip. Rhonda says, good morning, Corrine Debby, CCTV crew, Team Social, and all my crafty friends from all over the globe. We are such a crafty community. Crafter's Companion, the companion is so strong. It's brilliant. We've got Sarah Ibbotson says, good morning, everyone. Hello from Arkansas. Alicia Gordon says, good morning. Oh, she's also from Arkansas. Oh, it's busy over there. Really busy. Sil Sparky said, Debbie, that straight stitch you're using is back stitch. There you go.
I
said blanket stitch.
I knew we'd get there in the end, because I can't remember the names of the stitches.
Hello, lovely, says Sylv. Carol 16 says, Debbie, you could... Oh, that's what we were doing. Yeah. This is what we were saying. Debbie says you could use one piece of thread, double it, and when starting the stitching, have the loop at the back and pull your needle through the loop. No knotting or sticking down. That's what we were talking about. Lillian Quat says, hello, everyone. Laurie says, hi from Gilbert, Arizona. Love these embroidery dies. Evelyn says, good morning from beautiful Colorado. And Kelly says, hello, I'm back doing some fussy cutting while watching. Now, what I like to do is colour while I'm watching. So, yeah, so it's whatever works for you. Now, we're just going to give you a quick minute to catch up, see if you're using those. Make sure you've got everything ready and raring to go so we can come back after a little break. We're going to see all things Club Inspire.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters' companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% of your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
Here at Crafters TV, it couldn't be easier to get social with us. Whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, on your TV or tablet, you can get so close to the action, it's like you're in the studio with us. You can ask questions about products or crafty techniques. Get hints and tips from our expert demonstrators. Plus, share pictures of your crafty makes with our amazing community. Crafters TV, getting you closer to the crafty action. Our craft experts come from all over the UK to HQ up in the northeast, and here they are telling you a little bit about where they're from and what it's famous for.
So I'm from a beautiful town called Carnoustie. So many people may recognise the town as a golfing town, famous golfing town. We get lots of big golfing events. I can't say that I'm a golfer myself, but we do get a lot of the celebs, golfers, musicians, actors, all of these turning up at the town. For those that aren't into golfing, what I would tend to say is it's sandwiched in between Arbroath and Dundee, so we are quite far up. I love my town, I love where I am now. However, I will say one of the main things that I miss about my hometown, apart from my family and friends of course, have to say that, otherwise they're going to watch this and be like, where's our mention? It is of course the beach. You know, we're right on the River Tay, we've got the gorgeous beach, the sand and the sea. It's absolutely beautiful. It's the one thing that I always make a beeline for as soon as I arrive back home for a little visit.
I was brought up in Colnbrick, which is a little village near Slough, so it's not very exciting, but we do have the third oldest pub in the whole of the UK there, and it's where the Cox's Pippin apple was first invented or first discovered. But I moved to Chiswick in West London about 25 years ago, and I've lived there ever since, and I love it. It's full of, I wouldn't necessarily say celebrities, but TV stars, so it's quite good for celebrity spotting when you're having a cocktail on the high road.
And we're back. So, right, we're going to carry on. So I'm just going to show you I'll keep showing you different ones, but I just want to show you two very different looking projects that we've got with this die that our Debbie's using. Now, as you can see, this one, we haven't used the outer die and we've cut it into our cardstock. And you can show you, look, different stitches create different looks. I love this with the little circles, but this one has been cut out like Debbie's using, just ink the background, just an own inky background, but then using a black thread. Doesn't that look stunning? A gorgeous, gorgeous contrast. I really think that is ever so pretty. So those are just two different ways to use the floral heart. And I'll show you some more on some of the other dies in just a few minutes. But I'm going to let Debbie carry on where we've got up to and show you what she's been doing.
No, sorry, I know I got carried away because I've just carried on. But yeah, using your templates, just carry on. So you can see that it's starting to come round now. Let me just show you. Some are 3, some are 4. This one that I'm going to do is a 5. You've got a 5 there, a 3, a 3. Again, using that template, if you've got your template sorted, you know exactly where you're going to be going with this. But it's just, you just make this little bit easier for yourself. If you can't see the hole, turn it over, push it through the hole so you know where you're going. Until you've started to use them and until it starts to fill up, and I think that's the main thing that I wanted to get across, until you start to fill these holes up, it can be a bit daunting and a bit overwhelming, but there shouldn't, we don't want anyone to feel like that, do we, Corrine? Because they are fabulous dies and a lot of fun as well. They're a lot of fun, and again, a little bit of that mindful craft. Now, what I'm doing is talking while I'm doing it. I wouldn't be at home. I didn't do that. I was on my own. I was sat. I'm not going to lie, I did have some background noise in the background in the form of a TV programme. But sat at home doing a bit of mindful crafting while I was sat trying to keep my fingers busy and trying to keep them out of the biscuit tin, because that's the... well, I said the biscuit tin, it's a drawer in our house. I don't know what it is in your house, Corrine.
I've got an owl.
You've got a what in?
An owl biscuit bin.
An owl biscuit bin?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's green to match my kitchen.
Oh, I didn't know. Mine's a drawer. It's been a drawer since the kids were little. They've got a crisp cupboard. Sounds bad, doesn't it, when you say it like that? They've got a crisp cupboard. I've just dropped my thread. I do apologise. A crisp cupboard and a sweet drawer, and that's how they used to. Yeah, that's how they used to differentiate between the two. So I try and keep myself out of the sweet drawer and the crisp cupboard, so having something to do on a night time is very therapeutic. Could I just thank you very much. Needle threading, thank you.
I've been fetching the needle threader.
Thank you.
There
She's been
you
helping
go.
me. Yes, thank you. Because we want to try and keep this memento going. So I'm just going to pop my threader through my eye. Well, not through the eye, but you know what I mean. Through the
needle eye. Yes,
through the needle eye.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through the eye. But yes, I'm going to just do that, and I'm trying to get my hands from left to right, make myself a bit more comfortable. Oh, excuse me, I've been heckled by her. What was that?
I think it was a lorry.
It didn't sound like a lorry, did you hear it?
I did.
My God,
You and Craig together.
Oh, we'll have less. That, I swear, Craig made an excuse for that card. Anybody who hasn't seen it, go and catch Ben's, what's he call them? Catch up, what's he call them? Oh dear,
What's he call them?
What does he call them?
His roundup.
Roundup, that's it. Go and catch Ben's roundup. I absolutely...
All I can say is...
Oh! I've been listening to it.
It's like they are.
Do you think
Can
he's
I just say
heard
the
us?
gentleman protest us too loudly? Are you threaded?
I have, I've got threaded, even though he tried to put me off being heckled by a
Arctic lorry.
But yes, I do think he did protest too much as well, Corrine.
Yes.
Because it didn't sound like a car. Oh! Oh my God. Right, can we just apologise?
Can anybody else hear what we can hear? Or is it just, I'm guessing that you can, or is it just us that can hear it? Because I know sometimes like we can say, oh gosh, you can hear the rain, or when it was the fireworks, it was Craig and I here on bonfire night, and it was so loud. So I'm just wondering, can you hear the lorry that keeps interrupting our Debbie? Because it's so loud here. Oh, it's too funny.
Crack myself up, honestly. I'm thinking, well, I know, perhaps I was going to say we're not parked in a spot or anything, so we're okay. We're not annoying him in any way, shape or form. Now you can start to see the heart coming together and taking that around, and then when we come down at the very last one, it's these last 4. So again, just take your little pencil mark. Once your thread's over it, you're not going to see it. Obviously, if you had a black marker, you probably would. So that just have one as that template for you, and then we're just going going to finish that last little piece off at that very end. Pick up my needle again. It seems to have gone quiet now, Corrine. I think we might be okay.
We're all
What
right
do you
now.
think?
But if you were going to sew in black thread, like I showed you on that card, which Laurie says she loves that black thread idea, then yeah, if you drew in black thread, it would just enhance it, wouldn't it? It would just make it a little bit darker even.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Yeah, it would work quite well. But if you do it in a light pencil like Debbie's done, then you'll have absolutely no problems whatsoever with it showing through at the end.
And if you've done that lovely loop technique that you said about earlier, do you know about threading?
Yeah.
Do you know, like I dropped my stitch earlier?
It wouldn't.
You wouldn't drop the stitch.
No.
Because it's secured in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lovely top tip and one that I will take forward with me, Corrine, because I don't do that at home.
No.
So now you've just made my life easier. That little bit more in terms of again, it's all about those top tips, and there's lots of lovely people on our pages.
We'd love to share those top tips, don't we?
We try, yeah, we try. I'm not going to lie, don't ask me a name of a stitch. Don't ask me to do any more fancy stitches. I can try and have a go at some, but like I said, we want it to be an achievable, relaxing hobby for anyone to do. Have you still got my little snippy scissors?
I have got your little snippy scissors.
It's all right, it's just because I'm a bit fingers and thumbs with my larger scissors. I don't know about you, Corrine, but I find the little snippy scissors are a very useful pair to have.
They are.
Especially when it's coming to like a smaller area, and I'm just neatening up mine now, my thread ends. There we go. So literally now, we'll go in that one. There we are. And there you go. You've got that first start of your thread, and just doing the back stitch, we came to the understanding, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to move on to a lighter green now, because what we're going to concentrate on next is the leaves. Now again, if you go back to your template, you'll see that you've got, especially down this bottom end, we've got a leaf here, we've got one here, and then we've got two on the sides here. Now, you can take it as a very simple leaf. If I bring back in that design, let me just bring that round so I can show you again. You can keep it, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to keep this very simple straight edge, again, backstitch effect. But you can, if you want, copy it to be a full leaf. So what I did here was, just to show you, was that you go around the outside as well as doing the internal parts. So again, it's entirely up to you. And I think it's useful to either have a little bit of both, have a try, have a play. It's your craft along this, and it's your however you want.
Isn't it?
It's your project. So again, what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to concentrate on this particular leaf just down here. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start in one area, and then I'm going to move across to the stitches. I'm going to use this as the focal point, as being the main area where I'm going to completely stitch through a few times. So when we talk about it going back in itself, and if I just explain, if I bring it up through that hole first, let's bring that up for you.
Yes, everyone at home can hear the lorry.
Oh!
I've got Lillian, Debbie, Rhonda, Creative Blessings, Sue. Yeah, loud hooting lorry. We hear the horn. We can hear that. Yeah, it seems to have stopped.
So I'm going back down again onto the first stitch. So I'll just bring that in just for a second, because I want to make sure my thread's through. And again, you will knot yours. In fact, let me put a little knot in, or do that double loop, which I just think is just an invaluable tip. Although my eyes aren't going to play nicely, so I'm just going to do my little knot at the bottom. But yeah, and then just snip that off, and it just gives it a little anchor point from it stopping from coming through. So we're going to come in with, let me just move that one out of the way, because I thought I'd snipped you off, but your little thing, it's still there. I wonder what we're poking through. I'm thinking I ain't got dark green now, I've got light green. What's going off? It's because it was poking its way back through. Yeah, so we'll come up through this main leaf here. Now you can do it from this end or from the bottom end, it's up to you. Find what works for you, but I'm going to show you how I've done mine. So again, I'm just taking it there, and then we could just go in first of all with that very long one. I'll go in with that long one just to show you what I mean. And then we're going to come back up through that hole. So again, if you want to make it a bit easy for yourself, you can go back in through that bottom end, and then the one at the side. It's very difficult with the cameras to do this, to show you, but I've got into the one at the side of it, and then I'm just going to come down in. Now, I did say that I know we've got 2 hours with this, but I don't want you panicking if you don't get it done. take your time.
It's what we say, it's about being mindful, isn't it?
It is.
It's about relaxing and enjoying the process, because I think that is the most important bit, is that you enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Absolutely. So that is just taking it through each one of those individual sides. So you've got this like this little stitch going right up to this big one. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. We'll come in.
And this is why you need to split your threads, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. If you tried doing this with a 6 thread, all in one, it'd just look bulky, messy. You wouldn't see that design. But yeah,
it would. It would become solid, wouldn't it?
It would. Yeah, it would look really, really messy. So that's the last thing.
Really pretty, like frondy leaf, isn't it?
Yes.
Very effective.
Yeah, very effective. So because I can't see my last hole, I'm just going to turn it back over. Again, make it easy on yourself.
Yes.
And there you go, that's that little leaf stitch done. And then I'm going to come up to the one here on this side piece, and I'm going to do the one on the side as well. So I'm going to start.
There's definitely no point in cutting your thread at that point.
No, definitely not. No, just continue. Again, make it easy. Just turn it onto the side so you can see. And then I'll do it again when I do the long one. You can make it a bit easy for yourself and just do them 1 stitch at a time, as in terms of this one to this one, middle to this second one, middle to this third one, middle to the fourth one, and so on. But I just want to show you, again, just for ease more than anything. And again, do you know, with these stitches, do you know, when I used to cross stitch, I remember when I was talking about this when I did the launch. When I first started cross-stitching, me and my friend used to do it, so Linda used to do it, and her backs were so neat.
Were they?
Mine were a right mess.
I know they say officially the back of your project should be as neat as the front.
Yeah. Mine wasn't.
Mine isn't. Mine isn't.
And do you know, if I took it up again, and I have got a project that I started many a lifetime ago, and I say many a lifetime ago because obviously...
I've got one, and I know where it is, and I haven't done any work on it for 25 years.
And you know, I was about to say the same. I haven't picked it up for a fair few number of years. And it's a little girl on a beach, Corrine.
Oh, mine's a tiny little hedgehog. It's a little hedgehog one. I think it is something like that. I took it into hospital when my dad was poorly, and I was sat, you know, it was brilliant to do at the side of the bed.
Yeah.
Because you can pick them up and put them down, can't you?
Yes, yeah. And do you know what? It's a bit like this.
Yeah.
You can pick it up and put it down. If it's got, you know, if your eyes start to hurt a little bit, then I would say, I'm just going to put a bit of white cardstock underneath, because I've noticed the pattern from there is starting to, that's it.
Gosh, that
makes
shows
it a
the
bit
holes.
easier for myself, because I was struggling to see my own stitches and my own pattern then. But yeah, literally, I used to pick it up and start it any time, and that's exactly what you can do with this one as well. You can start and stop at any point.
Don't think you have to do it all in one go.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Because this is all about mindfulness and what it's doing for you and your own well-being.
Yes.
And if your own well-being says 10 minutes and you've had enough, then 10 minutes is fine, and you can come back today, later tonight, tomorrow, next week, or even, you know, next month. It's entirely up to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got loads of people watching. Jodie says, good morning, Debbie. Lots of love for your dress.
Oh, thank you.
Mary Pat 1000, good morning from Montana. Loads of people then saying that they'd heard the lorry. Gail Moore, good morning, checking in from Maryland. Creative Blessings, good morning everyone, it's great to be here with you this morning. And Sarah Ibbotson says, Debbie, I love how you've used craft card for your project. I've only tried using white card so far. But maybe if you do use craft card, what Debbie's doing now is crafting over a piece of white card.
Yes.
So you can see those holes.
Yeah.
Might make it a little bit easier for you. Or if you're doing it on white card, then over the piece of black card or something, just a contrast.
Yeah. So I've got, from my cross-stitch days, I've got like a little table that I use, that I can put things down onto my threads all outside of me, my needles outside of me, so I can because I can do things at home. So it's like a lap tray, a little bit like a lap tray. A little bit like you have on your food, you know, with beanie bottoms.
Beanie bottoms.
Yeah, so, and it's nice and bright, so I can see where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because I was struggling then, you know, with the glass mat, I was starting to struggle to see. Like I said, it's incredibly bright in the studios. I don't think you until you actually, unless you've been here, you'll understand what I mean by that. But yeah, on craft card, and it's something I don't use very often, just now and again, but it does really stand out on craft card. It looks really lovely when you start to see it come together. So I've done my 3 leaves, and then I'm going to go down into this very bottom one. So again, and I've worked around it, so it's not as much use on the thread.
Yeah.
And again, to be fair, I'm starting to look, it looks
Do you know, I
fairly
think the
neatish.
more you do, the easier it is to see what's left.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I'm not as close as you are, but when, like you say, when you first do it, it is a little bit of a mass of holes, and you think, oh goodness me, where's the pattern?
Yeah.
But the more you're doing, the more I'm seeing the pattern.
Yeah. Exactly.
Of what's left.
Exactly. And that's what you will... oops, Debbie, I've created a new stitch there. But yeah, you know, you'll know yourself that once you've got a lot of stitches in there, I'm just making sure I'm threading it the right way around, because again, I don't normally talk when I'm doing this, so I've got to try and remember. You're not bionic, Debbie, you're not Superwoman. But yes, more you fill up, the more easy you'll get to see the rest. And you'll start to see this as we go along. We're only like 54 minutes in. We've still got another hour to be going at, and you'll start to see it fill up. And we'll try and get as much as we possibly can do in this time. But yeah, I'm going to stop talking, Corrine, though, because I know if I don't, I'm going to concentrate.
I'm going to show you a couple of samples, because I want to, because a couple of points in that have been made. So here is a little box, sewing box, but again, it's another one with the craft card, just to show you how effective that looks. Doesn't that look absolutely beautiful, doesn't it? And again, it's about doing those different stitches, look really, really beautiful. But again, if you wanted to, you could just do it with the white card, as we were saying. But again, look at how different. Oh, why I wanted to show you this one when I was getting them out the samples. Can you see here, look, they've coloured behind where they're going to stitch. Now I did one with the roses. I've only done one on air of these, and I coloured behind it. So I think that looks really effective as well. So behind where if the leaf is going to be, or the flower is going to be an open design, then maybe go in with your alcohol pens beforehand and then just colour them in. It gives you just a lovely two-tone effect. Just another way to do it. There's so many different ways. And then this one I wanted to show you. So all 3 of these have been with the swirly leaves. But can you see on here, this one has been done with the glitter threads. So those two and those are
gorgeous,
all
isn't it?
Sparkly threads, aren't
Yeah.
they? Absolutely beautiful. So just to show you, I'm sure if you have ever done cross stitch or other forms of embroidery.
Oh, God.
He's obviously done embroidery. He's done some embroidery too. That's what he's saying. Then maybe you've got other threads. Yeah, he's definitely done some embroidery. He approves. I've seen lorry drivers do sewing.
Yes.
They can be very good because they have lots of time in their cab at night. Maybe he wants to join in with a craft along. There you go. So that's just 3 different designs with the swirly leaves. So I wanted to show you that. And I'm going to show you one more quick one before. Now, we have been asked this before. If you want, now your dies are paper dies, but if you cut with your fabric plate underneath, then you can cut into fabric. So this has been cut into felt. But isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And then embroidered onto the felt, and then, well, actually what they've done is they have, I'm just looking, yeah, they have done some of the stitches through the felt and into that layer. So they've attached the felt ring, the roses, onto the bag and then stitched. So it's actually the embroidery. So if I show you, look, you can see the embroidery stitches on the inside. Hopefully you can see those just there, look. For the green, they've just stitched the green straight on to the bag. So that's another way to do it, and I think that looks really pretty too. Absolutely gorgeous. Are you winning over there, Debbie?
I am, sorry, I've got into, you know, it's a bit like, because it's the mindful craft side of things, I've got into a little bit of a
That's what it's all about.
A threading comb, because we talk about colouring combers. But yeah, I feel like I've got it, because I've moved up now. So again, using that design, working out where your leaves are, and I'm just literally following this pattern. I've changed it up a little bit with this one, because I've gone in the opposite direction to what I'd initially planned. But again, you can see how it starts to form together. So again, I think you'll work out what stitch you want, what pattern you want. But if this is the first time that you've done this, then just enjoy the process. Just enjoy this part of it. And I'll tell you something, they've got that, everyone that you've just shown there, a wow factor.
They do, don't they?
Yeah, literally a wow factor.
And I think putting them onto papercraft projects,
Yep.
you're showing, well, it's what we were talking about last weekend before, mixed media.
Yes.
Mixed media is just using two or more different mediums on a project. Doesn't have to be papercraft, it's on any project. So now you've used your card and your embroidery threads. So straight away you're now into mixed media.
Yeah.
So if people are thinking, oh, I don't like mixed media, there are all sorts of different forms. And this might be your version of mixed media, which I just think is absolutely amazing, because it just takes away that fear factor of that, you know, that term. People say, oh, I don't do mixed media. Well, perhaps you do. Perhaps you do. I know what you're after. I'm doing it back.
I know, I've got threads galore all over. We're trying to keep on top, aren't we?
Thank you,
my
I was
lovely.
trying to thread,
oh,
but
you're
I didn't
so
know what you
kind.
needed next.
Thank you. You're well. You know, you've
What
been
do you
such
need
a
next
help.
after?
Well, I'm going to move after I've done all the green. I'm going to move to a pink, and I think I'm going to have either a dark pink, but I'm going to go in with. I tell you what, I'm going to bring off. I'm going to bring off all this light one, because I've already split these. But you'll just take your time. And again, just kind of, hang on a minute, I forgot how much I put on there.
Right, what colour are you doing next?
So some pink ones, but I'm just trying to,
Right.
have you got the needle? Oh,
I've got
the
two
needle
needles
thread
here.
there. Thank
I will
you.
thread you some pink, just
You
for
are
speed.
so kind, thank you. Yeah, because this is the this is the bit. There's no way around it. We can't slow this process down or speed. Well, I can speed it up a little bit with Corrine helping, but yeah. So I'm going to try, because I think this is my thinner needle, this one, Corrine. So I'm going to just literally take a couple of seconds. There we go. So I've threaded the needle threader through, and then we're going to put us things on. Now I think I've split it to two. I'm hoping I've split it to two. Let's give it a go. Let's pull that through. There we go. Yeah, perfect. So that's just helped bring that on. And again, because you can't have a never-ending thread, to be fair. And I'm not even going to try and pretend to have a never-ending thread. But what we're just going to do is continue again. So if you ever look where I'm going, and what I'll just do is I'll just pencil mark it to show you again. So this is the second leaf that I'm doing. This bit here is a big flower. So we're not going to come on to this one. We're going to take it up to the next leaves. So if I just bring that round, just to give myself a little helping hand to where I'm going with my next set of leaves. So I've got 1, 2, 3 leaves on this one. And then if you just bring this back again so that you get yourself a little bit of a head start, because that's the thing with this craft along, everybody's going to go at their own speed. Some people have probably raced away and got loads of this done now, but again, I'm just putting those pencil marks in. So it helps me. It helps me know and guides me to where I need to take it. So again, I'm just popping those little pencil marks on in terms of the leaves that we're going to follow around next. So again, coming down here. And you kind of see the leaf shape, Corrine, on this one.
You do, don't you? You can see them.
And because it is... Debbie's trying to thread it onto her bracelet. Perhaps wearing my charm bracelet wasn't the best thing to do when it came to that, because I was threading it on. It's always me N for Natasha. Always me N that gets me. Yes, she's always getting hooked up onto things, the little devil. I might have got a 3 split on this one, not a 2. Do you know what? I'm not going to worry too much. Not going to worry too much. So again, we're just going to now continue our journey. I've marked out the leaves where I'm going to go. And once these leaves are done, we will have our flowers, and we'll be able to start with some flowers. So even though you might think, oh, I'm never going to get it done in this 2 hours, I don't want you worrying. Do not worry in the slightest. We're not going to worry about it just yet. And I'm just going to snip off my extra little piece that's on there. There we go. We're just going to continue and see how much we get done. and then take it from there, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now somebody's asking, Mary Walker is asking, where do we find glitter threads?
Ooh.
Now I don't know whether we sell them, but I'm sure if you do a search on the internet, you'll be able to find glitter threads. There's bound to be lots out there.
Well, because Threaders is a brand of ours,
Yeah.
and we used to have some, you know.
Let
Did
me
you
have a
know
look.
that?
I will have a search
Yeah.
while you're doing that bit.
We used to have some glitter threads. I'm not sure if we do anymore because neither me or myself or Corrine, we're not. I'm not going to say we're not into sewing because I'm sat here sewing, but that sounds bizarre. We're not from the soft craft world. Our lovely Becky, our Sarah, our Leanne, they're the soft craft experts, so to speak. And because I don't work in store anymore, but we used to sell glitter threads in store. Absolutely, literally looks just stunning when you do, as you've seen with some of those projects that Corrine's shown you. Absolutely beautiful projects. But yes, I know Corrine's busy looking away to see if we still do any because we can't
Not
answer
finding
at the
any,
top.
but let me just glitter embroidery thread. There we go.
Is that what you're doing?
Right, now I've just put glitter embroidery thread into my search engine and it's brought me up lots. I can't find any on our Crafters Companion website, but I can find plenty and plenty on the internet. So that's all I can suggest. We don't sell them. That's a really nice pack. Ooh, that is nice.
Don't you be doing your shopping while I'm busy working over here, missus.
Sandra Dundas says it can also be nice to use one strand of glitter thread and one strand of ordinary thread.
Sandra, I love that top
Now,
tip.
I have got, not embroidery thread, I have got a Crafter's Companion little spool,
Yeah.
you know, like a cotton wheel, what do you call it, cotton, you know, the thing. And that's got glitter thread on, but that's more of a fine, it's not officially an embroidery thread, it's just a glittered thread. So, yeah, maybe we definitely do that. And that was from one of the collections. Wonder which one that was from.
I know, I'm trying to think of. I think I recall. My
Sure
goodness,
that was.
yeah,
I'm sure that was. I'll have another look. But there we go. So yeah, if you can't find it on our site, then yeah, just have a look. Sarah Ibbotson says, "I love how." Oh, yeah, she said that one. I'm sorry. That's it. Laurie Barnett, says, "Wow, colouring the white open spaces. I'm going to do that." That was from the example that I just showed a few minutes ago. Sandra said about mixing the threads. Linda says, "What needle are you using? Can I buy needle on Crafter's Companion?" I don't know.
Again, yeah, I'm not
We'll have
sure.
another look.
Yeah, but if our current investigates that little bit further.
Debbie and Creative Blessing says, "Debbie, this is going to be wonderful." Let me have a look. Now, there isn't a needle in this set, in with the threads. We did an embroidery craft kit, and that definitely had one needle. The problem we have is, as soon as we put a needle into a kit, because of packaging, if it's going overseas,
Yeah.
all sorts of different regulations come into effect. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to make excuses, I know that for a fact. It all changes the minute you put sharp objects in.
Yeah.
So the needle has to then go in its own little case and all the rest of it. The embroidery craft kit, which was one of the boxes, about... I'm doing 52. It's craft kit 52. You do get a needle in that. Hey, are you impressed?
I am.
52.
I don't even know where you got that from.
Nor
I'm
do
like,
I.
my goodness
Nor do
me,
I.
Corrine, that's
I know, right?
amazing.
That just popped into my head. So there you go. That had a needle in it, but I'll have another look to see if we have any on the website in a minute.
Perfect. Yeah, you pick them up in lots of stores as well. I'm trying to think, because I know supermarkets do them. I'm trying to think of other places that do them, Corrine. There's lots of places you can get hold of needles, and there's lots of places that you can get hold of specific needles that have got a bigger eye, rather than it just being like, you know, for your very small threads. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. Just have a little look around, but yeah, it comes with all the threads. If you have a look on the website, there is in fact, it's that great big packet, isn't it? Like you were saying at the beginning, how many there was in that is just mind-blowing, especially when you split your threads down. And I loved Sandra's idea of splitting it to one and then wrapping it with some glitter thread. That will make your threads go even further. And not only that, they'll add that touch of sparkle, which, if you're anything like me, love a little bit of sparkle. Now you can start to see it's starting to come together now. And again, all I'm doing is taking this around and going in using that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to continue to do all of the leaves, and then we'll move on to the flowers and show you how to get those lovely floral designs in there as well. So I'm just going to continue to do that. Corrine, I don't know if we've got anything planned.
I'm just looking. I've found pins. I'm just trying to find. I'm really struggling to find actual just packs of needles on our website. So all I can think is they come in some of the kits. So I'll quickly show you I've got two more of the designs to show you. So this one is the beautiful butterflies, and look at this. We were just talking about this card design a few minutes ago, because we were talking about what the card that Jan won card of the day with yesterday. So this is called a reverse easel card shape, and then we've just used the beautiful butterflies on the panel. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? But then on a dome fronted card, just like that. Now, acetate there, that could be a shaker card. There's so many different ways you can do this. And this one, again, you could be colouring behind the butterflies if you wanted to, before you stitched as well. So, you know, there are so many different ways. So you can see that's like a dome-fronted card. So that was the third design. And the fourth design is the rose. Did we say English rose? I think that was right, wasn't it? No, that was from the other one. Wreath of roses. English rose is from the iris folding, isn't it? I know, there's roses everywhere. Now, isn't that absolutely beautiful? Again, using that, cutting it out to create that. Now, I just wanted to show you side by side. Here is the wreath of roses, and we've coloured in the roses before we stitched. And actually, that makes it so much easier. Oh, and some of the leaves, look. Makes it so much easier when you are doing your stitching, because you can actually see exactly where you want the stitches to be, because you've already coloured it. So it's just another way of doing it if that's what you want. So, you know, there's lots of different ways. So as I said, that's the wreath of roses. So we've now looked at them all, and that was the wreath of roses that we had in felt on our bag. So yeah, lovely. Linda says, oh, thank you, Corrine Debby. No, we try. If we can help you, we will answer your questions. That's what it's all about. So I think Debbie is, oh, you're nearly there with your leaves, Debbie?
I've got just a couple more to do. I've got one here, and two down here to do. And I think, oh yeah, there's another one just down here. I think I've just seen another one. Yeah, I forgot to just mark that one off. So yeah, so all I want you to do is just continue. And I always find it easy. I don't know about yourself, Corrine, when you've worked with these, but I find it easier to not try and do too many things at once.
Yes.
So stick with a colour theme,
work
on the colour, and then move on to the next.
Yes. Yeah, exhaust that one first.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah,
and
because
also you've got the stitch in your head, haven't you?
Yes,
you've got that pattern,
and you can see that pattern forming.
It's repetitive. Repetitive. Doing the same leaf over and over again.
Yes,
you can't see your next leaf, can you?
That's it. I was like looking, I'm thinking, where are you? I can see you. But yeah, it's that repetitiveness. Is that a word? Repetitiveness. I just keep repeating that stitch.
No, that can't be right.
I thought I was good at making words up.
There was a lot of letters in that one, wasn't there? That'd be my Scrabble word. Repetitivity.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely not a word.
And as well, like with anything, do you know, safety-wise, you can use your little, is it thimbles that you can get? Can you still get thimbles?
I bet you can.
Yeah, I haven't used one for years.
Oh, no.
I
don't think you need a thimble with this, because a thimble...
Well, yeah, I suppose it depends, doesn't it?
It's for the pushing it through, isn't it?
Well, I have it to protect sometimes, because I'm terrible for stabbing my finger. Everybody else, but I stab my finger all the time. I'm not a little devil for it, but I can't help it. It's just the nature of how clumsy I am.
There's some fancy damn thimbles out there now.
Yeah.
Wow, they're not like when we were little and...
Oh, no. I've got a glitzy one at home, what I used to use for my cross-stitch. I used to have it all the time, just because, like I said, I'm just naturally clumsy and forever stabbing myself.
Sewing thimble finger protectors for embroidery. There you go. Not on our website, not on our website. So you just need to go and have a look, and you'll see them on there. Now, who else has been? Eleanor says, I love how these dies come to life when you do the embroidery. Yeah, it's like Debbie said at first. It's just a lot of holes when you first start. You've got to start picking them out and then they come to life.
You have to, yes.
Donna Blackman says, hi from sunny Miami, Florida. Oh, lucky you. Bragging again. It's certainly not sunny here, but it might be. It was a bit sunny, but it's very cold. I love the stitch card technique. I use a little glue to combine the ends of the thread and add a bit of glue to the paper and secure with a pinch of double-sided tape. Yeah. You use whichever way works for you.
You just find a work that works for you. Exactly what you do. You just find a way that works for you. So I'm just undoing my thread again, just to get that out there. And then I'm just going to thread a little bit more, because I've just, as it always, you tend to run out towards the end. Now, Debbie's got to remember where she put the needle threader, because blind as a bat. Oh, it's there. Debbie, sometimes you just should stick things where they are, so you see where they are, so it's easy to find things. Look at you threading on my needles, you little angel. Thank you so much, Corrine.
We've also got Sandra Dunn says, I love latch hook eye needles. They make life so much simpler.
I don't know what one of those is, Sandra. I hope you can share with us and send us a picture.
I think they're where you have the eye is on a hinge.
Okay.
So you can just press the thread through the hinge and it's threaded, I think.
Oh.
We're going to have a look. Let's have a look.
Yeah, because I'm not sure on that one. Do you know what I love, though? I've always said this about this community, is that helpfulness.
Latch.
All the top tips, all the ways that you can help each other in terms of different things, different stitches. And again, you'll find something that will work for you when it comes to your stitches. I'm just going to in fact, let me just pop a little knot in just again at the end. That's my preferred method.
Yes, they're darning needles.
Right, okay.
And the loop is at the top. And there we go. I don't know if our Charlotte can see that. Ooh, can you see that? How close can you get, Charlotte? Can you see?
Oh, that's my kind of needle.
There you go, look at that.
That's my kind of needle, Sandra.
Can you see? It's got a latch at the top. So you just push the thread through and it'll go click, and then the latch will go back into place.
Oh my God. I could have done with some of them.
But they're quite big needles. They're definitely big needles. You wouldn't be able to use one of those for intricate sewing.
Yeah.
You know, for your darn, they say for darning, because obviously with darning you're using a thicker twine, aren't you? You're often darning with wool. Do you darn with wool? I think you do, because you darn socks, don't you?
I'm not sure, Corrine. It's something I don't do.
Do you not sit up late at night darning your socks?
Oh no, got so many things to be doing. Darning till they go in bin. Although if you're my son, they stay on your feet forever and a day, and he walks around them all the time because he's shocking.
I went to give blood on Thursday. And I put some socks on to go under my boots. And I was just putting my boots on and I thought, oh, my heel feels a bit cold. And I looked and I thought, I've got a bit cold. I'm thinking, please don't ask me to take my boots off when I go to give blood. Because they're going to see. I did put them in the bin when I got home. But I was like, please don't
Did they
make me
have they gone threadbare?
They had, and I hadn't realised.
Probably your favourite pair as well. They normally are your favourite pair, aren't they?
It's because I wear boots all the time, and I think boots are very heavy on socks, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Much more than shoes.
Absolutely, yeah. Now we're coming to the last couple of leaves, Corrine, so I'm going to just move across here and we'll just continue to do that. Now I don't know if it's time for a bit of a break so we can continue to do this and then we'll, when we come back...
Good. Charlotte,
I think what we'll do is we'll have a bit of a break. I'm just going to continue to do this, and I think what we can do is when we come back we'll move to the flowers and the florals.
I think that'd be good. Yeah, so people can see the different stitches for that. That'd be really, really useful. Yeah. So we're going to let Debbie just try and finish that one, because then she can take it away from the camera and she can stitch a little bit quicker. And then we will come back in 3 minutes. 3 minutes, there you go, after you've watched this quick little VT.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. So, join our family of craft experts with live tutorials and demonstrations every day. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products here on Crafters TV. Get creative and craft along with our amazing deals. Your next craft project is only a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week or watch on catch up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook or our YouTube channel. You can chat to us, craft along and meet new friends in our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
You all had time with each other! You're not through to boot camp. Get off!
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. So, stop what you're doing and enjoy the fun here on Crafters TV.
What makes Crafters TV so special is you guys.
It's really special because the experts are really experts. They're really skilled at what they do, and they want to make sure that the audience also improves on their skills.
Crafters TV is so special because you've got together a really sort of key group of people and people that are very passionate about the products.
Crafters TV is so special because it's a unique community that we have with each other, where we can learn and grow and communicate with each other.
Community, the family spirit, the education, everything to do with craft. We are all like-minded people who share a passion.
I love all the inspiration the demonstrators bring and all the knowledge for us out here.
What makes Crafters TV so special, 100%, is the interaction. No other crafting TV channel or show has the same interaction.
I love the community, I love chatting live, I think that's the best part. And it's gone beyond crafting because we've become friends.
Feels to me to be a really, really close relationship with our customers and viewers.
You guys make us feel like we're part of your family. I've never been on the show before, but one of my friends who I did meet from CCTV encouraged me, and I was on the craft along.
A massive team of people, and I think they've all got their role to play, and it just brings everything together. It allows us to do our job and just love it.
The people, obviously, the people not just here at Crafters Companion, but the viewers that watch us. I mean, everybody. We have this real magical essence about it.
Bye for now. Bye.
It's lovely to hear what you all think of Crafters Companion, because we love having you here too. So yeah, it's brilliant. So yes, we love having you, and we love your interaction and your comments, and to know that you're enjoying the shows. I mean, I just had Tess here say, I just try to make sure I have a good light when I embroidery. Yeah, good light. There's a difference between good light and fierce light, I think. I usually work on a section in my stitchery book every night. What a stitchery book is. I've not heard of one of those before. Oh, I'm intrigued. A stitchery book. That's interesting. We'll have to see. I don't know whether she means there's a pattern that she's taking out of her book, or whether it's some sort of book that she's stitching into. You could read that either way. I'd love to know, Tess. That's absolutely brilliant. So if you've only just joined us, we're 3/4 of the way, yeah, 3/4, because we've got half an hour left, of the way through our craft along using these beautiful embroidery dies. So you have got the, get these right, you've got the floral heart. Hopefully you can see that. There you go, the floral heart. You've got the wreath of roses. You've got your beautiful butterflies, and you've got your swirly leaves. Now what we also do is we also sell our pack of embroidery thread. So these are just lovely bright designs, and there are 8 meters on each sheen, and you've got 12 sheets. So that's 96 meters in total. But when you open these, it recommends that you use 2 threads per every time you stitch, and these are 6 thread sheens. So that means if you split each 8 meter into 3 lots of 8 meters, you are now at 288 meters of thread, which is a phenomenal amount of thread. You're going to be able to do so many projects with 1 pack of thread. And you've got some lovely colours. You've got your brown, white, purple, lilac, light blue, dark blue, 2 greens, yellow, orange, cerise, and ready cerise, and a pink as well. So you've got lots and lots of threads there, lots and lots of different colours. Maybe all you might want to do is add in some glitter threads as well. So our Debbie is, I can see she's on a different colour now. She's on the pink, I think.
So we're going to do the flowers. Now, I can tell you that with what we've got left to do, we're not going to get it done in 2 hours. And I did say at the very start, I thought that this would take a little bit longer. When I did mine at home, it did take me that tad bit longer. But to be fair, I was watching a bit of TV while trying to stitch at the same time. But what I'm going to focus on is a floral. Now, I'm going to come up to this floral here. I'm going to start here, which is why I've took my pink thread. And when I talked about you could either use this as a guide. The one that I'm going to do with and stick it is literally that back and forward stitch. Now, what did they call it earlier, that one? What was it?
Backstitch.
Backstitch. This is slightly different. It's not a backstitch as such, but it's like a straight stitch. But you have got choices of different flowers and different ways that you can use your holes to guide you. But I am keeping it really simple. And again, going back to my little template, you can see that I'm using these centre pieces, these centre holes, with each one that has got a petal to it. So that one's got 3, that one's got 3, and then so on, all the way around. So I've took some pink thread, we've got threaded, and we're going to start by taking it in, and we're going to do starting from this midpoint. So I'm going to, I think I've got my big needle again, haven't I yet? So I'm going to come in, and we're going to start with, wrong hole, Debbie, there we go, that hole. And so I'm going to bring it in, and hold that thread down for a second. And then coming up to these pieces here, what we're going to then do is we're going to do that, but very similar to what we've done with the leaves. We're just going to go into that one, back in, into that one, back in, into that one, back in. So it's literally like a repetitive stitch. I don't think you're going to go far wrong with these, to be fair, if you do this stitch. And for me personally, which is why I chose this particular one to start with, I found it easier to do in terms of before I start getting into a more detailed one. That's something that you can pick up and do as you go along, or you might be quite brave right now and you might be attempting those different stitches. But as you see, I'm going back into that hole, back up through, and then into that next one at the top. So it literally is just, and again, I wonder if somebody out there could tell us what kind of stitch that is, because again, I'm not sure, Corrine. I've told you, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know exactly what every single stitch is, because I don't.
No.
I just love crafting, I love paper crafting, love a bit of sewing, and I love dies that make it easier for ourselves.
I don't think you need to know what the name of the stitch is to just know
it's just
that you're enjoying it, aren't you?
Yeah, enjoy. It's that mindful craft again. So it's exactly the same. I've moved to the next hole, and we're going to keep on repeating, going through that hole into the next one at the side of it, of the petal. And that's exactly what you'll just keep on doing until you've completed the full flower. I told you we were going to keep it simple. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. I wanted to keep it nice and simple for the Craft Along project. And I wonder if there's people crafting along right now?
I'd love to know.
I know, yeah. Normally we have a guest, but we haven't had a guest.
No, we haven't had a guest today, but I wonder, it'd be lovely to... I know if you're crafting along, you can't type at the same time, but just let us know if you are using your embroidery thread dies at the same time as us. That would be lovely to know.
Absolutely. So I'm just repeating each one and each petal, and you'll see in a second when we come to form the full petal how that looks. So again, just straight in that middle to the next one at the side, back through, straight up to that middle point again. So I'm not going into another one, I'm using the same hole each and every single time. Pull it taut as well so you can help yourself a little bit. I know it's sometimes difficult, especially with these cameras, to see that, but oops, hold it still, Debbie, hold it still. There we go. So again, if I just push that down to one side for a second, you can see now each individual petal's coming on. So I've finished with that one. So again, I'm just going to hold my thread down, come into that next centre piece and work on that next petal. And that's all this is. It's really straightforward, but it's very therapeutic and fairly mindful. I say fairly mindful. Like I said, at home, I don't talk. I just stitch. I sit there. I'm not talking to anybody because there's no one to talk to, apart from the telly.
But you're also not trying to do it at an angle so that the cameras can see it either.
Yeah, I'm trying my hardest to try, because it's very difficult to do between things. Normally when we're die cutting, we can lay things flat, and we can do all those kind of things, but it's a little bit difficult at the moment. But you can see now each individual petal's coming along. I'm going to move to that next one, and we're going to just repeat that again.
Oh, can I tell you, Tess has come back.
Yeah.
Corrine, I'm making a stitchery journal by making a fabric instead of paper. Fabric pages go into a solid book when it's done. Each page has a theme. Some are fabric piecing, stitching and making a picture. That is amazing, Tess. I'm really impressed by that. So she's taking lots of pieces of fabric and then turning them into a book. That must look beautiful. You must be so proud of that when it's finished.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd love to see that when it's done. So, oh, yeah, there's just different ways. You are some clever people out there.
There is, isn't there?
There is, isn't it?
There is indeed. Now, I've got a little bit of a knot there because I do it a lot. I don't know about yourself, Corrine, but I've managed to end up getting a knot. So I'm not going to worry too much. I'm not going to try and snip it off. I'm just going to incorporate into the...
it's at the back.
It is. And again, when you're using these, you're not going to see that back. The back is going to be covered up. So I'm not going to try and rectify it. It'll take too long. We don't have much time left. So
no, we're just about half an hour left.
Yeah, so I'm just going to make sure the stitches taut. There we go. And then carry on with that next one. So lastly, the last start of that petal, bring it up, go back down, and literally just repeat that step. And when I've done, now there is that centre panel, what we've just been using, you could actually take another colour and stitch the middle part of your flower. However, I'll show you what I've done, because I haven't done that.
So each petal has sort of 4 strands to each petal,
yes,
is that right?
That's right, yeah.
So this is, again, why you need to split your thread down. So you're only at 8 thicknesses, because you've got, if it's 2 thicknesses wide and you've gone through 4 times, it's 8. Now, if that was a full 6 thread sheen, that would be 24 thicknesses.
Yeah. And you can see now how that has formed. Now you could take another colour, so you could take a darker pink, and then you could use the outline to go around to have a closed up flower. And then you've got the centre bit, which you can also go in with a different colour and have a centre panel as well. However, I like just as it is, and the only thing that I've done different, Corrine, and I'm just going to show you in a second when I bring in my finished one, just for a minute, is I've added a gem into the centre of mine. I thought, you know, with it being
pretty, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks very pretty. It makes it stand out that little bit more.
I don't know how close Charlotte can get, but just so that people can see, here is one now. See if she can get in on this one. So if you look at this one, this flat flower here, this has been done exactly as Debbie said. We've just done, who made this one? I don't think it says on the back of there. Very clever, whoever did it. So they've done the same stitches as Debbie's done, and then they've stitched around the outside to sort of enclose it. And then, to finish it off, they've taken the white and then used those centre points to create a little centre to the flower. And you can see they've done it again here and here. Now they've left these 2 open, that one, and just stitched in the centre, and then they've enclosed that one as well. So you can see there are just lots and lots of different ways to do them. And that one just looks so effective in the black thread on the coloured background. Really, really beautiful. So it's entirely up to you how you do them. What we're just giving you is a guide, and then you can do it your way. There we are. Right. So you're still on your pink flowers, are you there, Debbie?
Yeah, so I was going to move to the purple one, but I've got time to do a pink and a purple, I think. And then what I think I'll do, so that you can see how I've put my scrapbook page together, is just quickly run over those details, because we're definitely not going to get all of these petals done. I mean, I said normally I can do speed crafting, but when it comes to these, it's not about the rush, it's about the mindful.
We were actually talking about this earlier, weren't we? We were saying there are some projects, some products that are just absolutely perfect for a 2-hour craft along, and you can just time it just right. There are some like these that we almost have to condense it to get it down into the 2 hours, and then there's other ones that we could do a craft along in like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, some of our kits and things. And it's quite hard to try and make them all fit into the slot. Yeah. But we do it.
I know. And normally I do time myself, but like I said, with this, I knew it was going to take longer. Yeah. I know our lovely Charlotte had asked me at the beginning, and I did say to her, it's highly unlikely we will get the whole stitching done in 2 hours. And I don't want you to rush this project. I want you to take your time with it. You'll start to see it coming together yourself. And everybody does things at a different speed. People who've been sewing and doing embroidery for years will have these, they'll have them in no time. Yeah. No time whatsoever. Someone who's a paper crafter like myself, who just does it as enjoyment, as a different form of craft, it takes that bit longer. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional stitcher, I'm not a professional embroiderer, you know, I'm not even going to stand here and tell you that I can. I just enjoy. And the whole reason behind why Leanne and the team developed these is to bring a different style of crafting to you, for you to have a go with.
Yeah, it's all about, you know, having a little go. And perhaps once you've had a go with these, you might think, oh yeah, I fancy having a go at full embroidery and get some, you know, full embroidery kits.
Yep, because they're out there. They're out there. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a nice, relaxing, and that's what today, like we said, all the way through today, it's all been about mindful crafting. I got asked what I thought I would like on. I gave them a list, and everything that I gave them a list of, we've had today.
There we go.
Yeah.
We've had Stephanie saying, love, love, love the sparkle. And we've had Sandra. Now, Sandra, because we've only got Charlotte in, she might not be able to do it now, but we might be able to get it on for the next show. Sandra sent in 3 pictures that she's done, a picture of 3 that she's done. Wow. So she's just saying in my ear, because it's only Charlotte in the gallery doing cameras and producing and everything else. She just needs to wait until the break, so she'll get that ready for us, because we've got a nice big break. I think, yes, we've got a couple of hours, haven't we?
Couple of hours.
And then Rhonda says, French knots in the centre of the flowers would look really lovely. Oh, I'll take your word for it, Rhonda.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what a French knot is.
I think it's...
Is it the one that's got the...
It raises up above it, so you bring it up and then you twizzle it and knot, and then twizzle it and knot. And I think that's what it is. So it sort of makes it quite 3D.
Yeah, it looks like a twizzle knot is probably how I would describe it, Corrine. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. So again, and I'm just going to finish this last pink flower off. How are we doing for time? I think we're all right for time.
Oh, 25 minutes.
Oh, we'll be fine. I'll start a purple one, but you can start to see, and I think I've just got enough pink.
Is your thread just going to work?
I think it's just going to finish, and I'm hoping so, because there's nothing more frustrating, is there?
If you've got like half a petal left.
Yeah, and it's like just the one stitch. Yay! Now you can see with my knotty one, a little bit messy, but can you see now, because I didn't have any accidents with that one, and I'm just tucking that thread underneath. I'm not, I don't tend to knot them down, because bearing in mind, this is a project that's going in a scrapbook page, but you can start to see how it comes together.
Those colours are beautiful on the craft card.
They're lovely,
aren't they?
Yeah, they're really, really pretty. If I just come up a bit closer so you can see them. Oh, I've missed a leaf off. Oh, Corrine, me and my eyes, there's a little leaf there.
Yeah, you can see that.
I can just see it thinking, oh my God, why did I miss that? How did I miss that? But I'll move on to a lovely lilac thread. And if I come in now with this one, we'll come down to another big floral round here. Now, I was just thinking, have I missed another leaf? No, it's there. Do you know, you look at yourself and you think, have I got that right? Yeah, that's about right. So this one here is a completely different petal.
It's a smaller flower,
It's a smaller flower, yeah. So what I'm going to concentrate now is all on these here. And again, you do have a lovely little pattern that you could follow if you wanted to for that particular design. But like I said, I wanted to keep it pretty straightforward. I know that this is the centre part, and then all of these around are the petals. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take it from one of these holes, go across, and if I just show you, that's what I'm going to do for each one. So again, take my thread. Let's, oh, have I put a, yeah, we've put a little one in there, but let me move that out of the way just so we can do. We'll probably finish this last flower off. So again, I'm going to try and do it where I can turn it around and show you. There we go, that's better. And then again, I'm just going to keep on using that straight back and forward stitch going into the hole as the centre part and working from there, she says. There we go. And exactly the same. So it's going into that next hole at the side of it. I'm hoping the camera can show you. It's like always difficult with this one, but just to show you how to do this one. Now this one has got, because the flower has got raised and then sunken elements, you get a different kind of feel to what you did with this one. This is almost like a flat edge kind of design, but this one has got more bumps and curves. That's a good way of describing it, isn't it? Bumps and curves.
It's fine. Absolutely.
Little nice way of describing it. It does, it works okay. So again, I'm going to come on to this one and then do exactly the same. So it's literally just going in one hole, out through another, back up through that centre piece, and then just continue that stitch like so. Do you know when it is only quiet in the, because you're normally used to two voices in your ear, and it's all, it's so quiet, there's nobody.
Charlotte's got nothing to say because you're mesmerising
Well,
us
the thing
all.
is, it's very mindful.
It's not only mindful for you, it's mindful for us too. I'm just like, oh yeah.
Gets you in a nice zone mood, doesn't it? Gets you in a really nice place.
Yes.
This kind of crafting, and then I'm just going to continue.
Is that a small flower or a large? It's one of the larger flowers again.
It's a larger flower, yeah. So it's the one that you can actually, like I said, do a different kind of pattern to what this one is. So it's the one where you can actually just follow those holes around.
the outside, yeah.
Yeah, and
or you can just have it the same as you've done the pink.
Exactly, and that's all I'm doing with this one. I'm having it the same kind of design. So again, let me just, where did I go? Oh, we're there, weren't I? Let's go back in. And let's come up. Because I do tend to get lost in my own little world when I'm doing this. And this is the thing, mindful crafting isn't about chatting with your next door neighbour or catching up on gossip. It's about you having a bit of time to yourself.
It's about taking time for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that can be whatever craft, you know, you've just picked a few of your favourites, like you say, the iris folding, the lattice folding, some colouring, and what have you. I was colouring something that I thought I needed for Wednesday, but I don't know because shows change. And I was on the phone to my mum the other day. That was right. And I coloured the whole of a flower because I was colouring, but I was also chatting. And it almost stopped me from overthinking. And you know what? When it finished, it was absolutely beautiful. I was really, really chuffed with it. It just shows you, doesn't it, how some of these, you just do them without thinking, don't you? And it just
exactly, without thinking.
Lets you switch off.
And that's the thing, but that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's all about that switch off. It's not about, you know, it's about taking away from all your troubles, your strife, things going off in your life. It's just a lovely form of crafting, I think. I'm sorry, Corrine.
Rita says, could I colour over the stitching with any ink pen? Now, I wonder if she means the holes. Or does she mean...
Oh, you mean like the centre parts?
Like the centre parts.
So the centre part instead of...
I would recommend you did that colouring beforehand.
Yeah.
So let me show you if Charlotte can show. So if you wanted to do this effect, I would wholly recommend you did the colouring before you did the stitching, just because you're going to be able to get a better finish. But Did you say you did this one, Debbie? Was this one of yours?
Yes, it was one that I did in the launch because I did a
Debbie
faux
did this
stitching
one
on the
launch.
front.
Doesn't that look effective? That's not stitching. That is drawn stitches.
Yeah.
So just take your fine liner pen and draw in. So it's like faux stitching.
Yeah.
And then on the inside, you've obviously got a thing for this heart. On the inside, now that one
That's
is
the one that's stitched.
real stitching.
Yeah.
That's stitching. But that one is faux stitching just by drawing over the joining up, you know, if I turn it that way, you can better see. Look, there's no height to it. It is all done with a pen. So you do whichever one works for you.
Yeah.
I just think that's really clever. Really
Isn't
clever.
it?
So, yeah, if you want to colour, I would recommend you do it before, because it's just going to get a better finish. But if you don't want to do stitching, you can get an equally good result by going in with your coloured fine liner pens. There's just so many different ways, isn't there? Just so many different ways if you want to
Exactly.
do them.
There's a lot of ways that you can do these. I'm just finishing off my last stitch, and then do you know when you suddenly see a faux pas? I've seen a faux pas because my stitch here should have been clean. It was there. It should have been that bit, but it doesn't matter because I can go back in with the green and do that, redo that. But yeah, you can start to see it form together now. And again, I'm just going to finish that last one. Let's go in that one.
Oh, Crafty Andy says it's just beautiful. Michelle Parsons said, imagine how pretty these would look cut into the centre of a quilt square.
Ooh.
So where we put that on a bag, on this one I've got here, where we put this one onto a bag, imagine that was a quilt square. And then you embroidered that onto your quilt square and then sewed your quilt square into your quilt. That would look really pretty, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So again, now you can see, can you see how it's starting to build up, Corrine?
Yeah, that's a pretty flower.
Yeah, and literally you just, and that's just a straightforward, like I said, the back and forth. That one that you showed when I did the faux stitching, I did a different kind of look inside there. I wonder why my scissors weren't working. Then I'm thinking, they're not cutting. But yeah, you're just going to continue with, so this is your other one here that you've got, and if I just run that around, you've got some smaller ones here, and I'm going to have to bring this, shall I yeah, I think I'll do, shall I do one more? Will I get away with one more? I think I might be able to get away with one more, she says. Or I could bring in, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to bring...
We've only got 15 minutes.
Well, I'll do another couple because I've got some little ones down here as well. But yeah, you can start to see. So can you see there in the white, I've done some little white ones going across those smaller places. That's a red flower that I've gone up with there. That's my pink. Don't forget, put your little gems inside if you want to cheat or do the colouring like you suggested earlier. But yeah, we'll move over to one over here so that you can start to see, and then we'll put a page together. I've got this one all ready to go, but yeah, it's just a case of finding which way, colours. Colours are always a thing. Now, I was going to use wisteria paper, but I changed my mind at last minute and I've used Angel. But you've got wisteria paper that you could be using. How many other gorgeous paper pads have we had out recently, Corrine?
Oh, there's been
days.
too many to mention, hasn't there?
Say it with flash. Yeah, just choose your colours around your paper. And that's why I've chosen these kind of colours. On top of craft card, looks lovely, but bearing in mind with my colour theme, I've gone with...
was it the angel?
Yes,
collection?
the angel. Yeah, absolutely. So let's go back in again and start to build up the petals, Debbie. Petals at a time. Come on, girl.
There's loads of beautiful paper pads. And did I see we might have Floribunda this week?
Oh, are you allowed to say that? I think, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a launch every day this week.
You're kidding?
Nope.
Every day?
Sarah, Leanne, Debbie Fisher.
Yep.
And Jan and Sarah again.
Yep.
I don't know if that's the right order, because it might not be Sarah at first, because I've just seen she's in the middle of a husky ride in Norway. So she might not be back on Monday. She might be. But yeah, she's having Ben and Leanne on Monday. I know Sarah's in on, well, that's confetti bordered eyes. It's definitely Sarah in on Wednesday because it's sent with love. Textured embossing folders with Craig and our Debbie I love those. I did those on Hobby Maker. Oh my goodness me. We sold them all out within a few minutes.
I understand, yeah.
It was Sent with Love on Wednesday. That's definite with Sarah.
You're going to get a
then
sneaky
Thursday,
peek
I think,
tomorrow.
is our Jan. Yes, it is. It's Jan on Thursday.
It's with the stamps, so the mindful. So I launched those down at.
So you couldn't put those in today, could you? Really?
Well, I could have done because I've already launched those at Hobby Maker, but because we haven't launched them up here, I couldn't.
No,
because they are a lovely set of stamps. So yes, I did ask, but I was told no.
Okay, and then it'll be Friday. It'll be Ben and Sarah again with a Floribunda. So that's a beautiful paper pad and some vellum sentiment strips. Look,
that's what
really
today,
love them. Sandra says, it's just asked a question, was the one that I showed cut into felt? Yes, it was, Sandra. That beautiful pink wreath of roses is cut into felt. So put your, so this one here is cut into felt. So put your fabric cutting plate underneath your felt, and then cut your die into that, and then that will help to get through. And it's actually, you've got to cut the outside, but they're quite straightforward shapes, and then all the little dots, it's just little dots, so your dies will should cut through it, no problem. You can, I'm rapidly emptying this of filling. You can always run it through twice if you need to, but once should be enough. Right, Debbie, have you nearly got enough done so that we can see how to put this page together?
I'm gonna have to pause with the stitching because I do want to be able to put my page together. But you can see now literally how it's starting to come together with your flowers.
I think you've done the bulk of it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, and there's some of you out there that might have even gone one step ahead and actually gone full pelt. So I'm just going to stop and pause there, and I'll continue that later because this is the finished look. Now, I've just, the only extras that I've done, because that's where I was just finishing onto, the extra bits that I've popped onto there are the red. And then lastly, and I mean lastly, and I would urge you to do it last, is the smaller ones, because then you'll see the smaller pieces that are left. I can't believe we just had that extra little bit of time. We probably would have got through that, but it is all about the mindful side of this. It's not about the rushing. It's about taking your time. And what I've done is I've just used some gems into the centres of each one of those. So I'm going to bring in my scrapbook page just for a second. I'm just going to get all my pieces together, Corrine, so just won't be a minute. I just need to get those together.
Opaque ink around the outside of the heart that you'd then dusted onto it.
How did you guess?
Well, you see, I could see it.
Yes, I have just touched up around the edges, and you can use any ink onto craft card, but yeah, it's the opaque white. Yeah, it gives it a little bit of a shadow. I can't believe you recognise that. Then
there you go. Well, I read out the list of ingredients.
You saw me instructions.
Yeah, so there you go. I read out the list of ingredients right at the beginning, so I remember there was a white opaque ink. Right, so, oh, look at that paper that Debbie has got. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, and I'm just bringing in all my little pieces. So I've got lots of little bits. Sorry, I've just dropped everything. As you do, Corrine, as you do. When you don't want to, when you're on a time limit, I've only gone and...
It's okay, but you could be using any of your paper pads, and you could be using, the thing about scrapbooking is all about using all the bits and pieces. So if ever you do die cuts and things, and you save them all up, the bits that you don't use, this is the perfect way to be using them all up. It's just using all those little bits that you've saved, all those die cuts that you might have done when you were looking at how they cut, and then bringing them into a project. So our Debbie will show you what she's done.
I will. When I come, and do you know what? I've put my photo down somewhere. There it is. I found it. So what I'm going to just do is put my pieces together. So I've taken one of our dies. It's one of our edgeable dies, Corrine. Do you know the
Grande edgeables?
Yes. Yeah. So and I've literally just cut it out into some textured cardstock. It's almost sacrilege to cover her up because she's so pretty. I might have to. Well, no, I'll pop it together. But I've just taken a couple of pieces. I've actually got a spare piece here because what I've done is to add a little bit of texture, I've just ripped up a little bit of our multi-purpose cardstock.
All right.
And it's just to use, just for a second, so I can show you how I've done this. I've lost one of my edgeables, so I don't know what I've done. That's that one. Do you know, Corrine, I had everything underneath here.
You were really organised. You had it all ready.
I was so organised. I had everything ready. I had my photos to choose from because obviously I want to personalise it. And I've managed to go and lose a bit. So I tell you what. Oh, dearie me, seriously. One of these days I'll be even more organised than I normally am. Yeah, so I'm just going to add a little touch of, and I'll use this piece because I'm going to have that just under the top. I'm just going to use it as a little stencil. So I'm just going to grab an inky applicator. Just bear with me a second. Can just give me a second to get the last few bits together, please?
So,
Is that
we've
all right?
had comments from Tess said it's lovely. Sandra Dunder says, thank you, Corrine. Guess what I'm doing next week? I think she's cutting these dies out of felt. There you go. Mary Pat 1000 said, that's so pretty, Debbie. Laurie Barnett says, the gems are a great embellishment. There we go. So, yeah, lots and lots of love for where we've come to so far. And then how you put them together is entirely up to you. That looks like a new set of fingered aubras. Is that yours?
Yes.
I thought it looked a little bit new. I thought it looked a bit fancier than the one we normally have in the studio. I was about to be really impressed.
Dear, well, I was going to use a little bit of sandstone underneath just to add a little bit of texture. And it's just to use... let me see if sandstone will stand out that little bit more. Let me go in with the sandstone. Yeah, I'll use my sandstone. But it's just had a bit of texture. It's just about layering and using this as a stencil for underneath, and just randomly going on.
There's no reason you can't still use that on your project, even though
and do you know what? I'm going to have to, because I've lost the other piece. Don't ask how.
Do you know what? The minute
we come off air,
the minute Charlotte goes and mics are down, you'll go, and there's the other piece.
Exactly. And this is just, again, it's just a torn piece of cardstock, and it's just literally just to add a little bit of tiny texture to the background.
Copy of paper as well.
Copy of paper,
whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just move that round a little bit. There we go. Do you know what I could have done, Corrine?
What could
I could have done it on the other side, the bit that got stuck down. Why didn't I think of that? I always think of these things last minute.
It's okay.
But you can start to see a little bit of that texture coming on. Oh, and Charlotte's doing the countdown now, so Debbie's not going to panic. She is going to panic, but I feel I am going to panic.
Debbie, will you please hurry up?
Hurry up, Debbie, hurry up. Get yourself moving, girl. Get yourself moving. I've just cut some pink textured cardstock, a little bit like a tail effect, if that's the right word. We've got dies that do this as well, but I've just used my guillotine.
We've also got very good guillotine to do that.
Exactly, yeah, it's the guillotine that I do this with, but I'm just going to add a little bit of, she says dotty tape pen. Oh, we're nearly out of that dotty tape pen. It'll be just my lumming luck. Let me see if there's another one on here, Corrine. Let's see if that'll work. Well, sometimes the nature of a tape pen, especially on textured cardstock, can be a bit tricky. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to my tacky glue. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Plus, I am... do you know? I am getting worse with age. I swear I am. I'm going to have to turn my tails round.
That's fine.
It's all right. It's okay. But I'm just going to place that on. And this is, again, it's just a little bit of decoration. Normally you'd let that dry, but we're in a tad little bit of a rush, so I'm not going to panic too much, she says. Make sure that I get that the right way around this time. But yeah, we'll just finish this off to show you how to put that together. And you can, if you're at home now and doing your bit of your stitching, can have a little bit of time to catch up on. So I'm not going to worry about that overhanging, because where I'm going to place this now, if I bring my scrapbook page in, got myself a little love heart. It's all about, I don't know about yourself, Corrine, but it's about just adding a little bit of interest.
About framing it, isn't it?
Yeah, about framing. So I'm going to add that little piece that will probably turn over. We'll turn over because I'm just going to give it a little bit of a... I think our pink tulip is on its way out, Corrine. I don't know about yourself, but I think the pink tulip is most definitely on its way out.
What, is that water reactive?
Yes. So I'm tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to stick this down because we really have run out of time. I'm going to use my edgeables just down either side. I'm going to add these pieces and these panels over the top. Let's give that a little bit of texture, because I don't want to rush this now, because it's not, we're going to run out. Thank you very much. We'll do that. And then we're going to add that onto there. And then I'm going to pop my little with love down on there. I did have a love heart somewhere. Just give me a second.
It's right next to the L.
Thank
it's
you.
right next to the L, look.
Thank you so much, Corrine, because I am absolutely hopeless.
Now,
pop that onto there.
Your lady is lying down. Have you turned your paper 90 degrees?
Well, thank you so much for that, but...
She's going to be covered up.
It's a good job I haven't stuck it down. I will stick it down and we'll share it with you later, because I'm just going to show you how to do a little bit of layering and add a little bit of interest. And again, that's all, it's all about that composing stage for me. How much of that do you want hanging out? How much of those do you want down here?
And it doesn't have to be symmetrical, does it?
No, because, and I am going to use my frame with my picture. So I've got a little picture of myself back in the day when I had red hair. Wow.
Not that long ago?
No, about a year and... It was September, not last year, the year before when I started. Yes.
Was it as long as that?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Wow.
So what I would do is, rather than die cutting it, because if you die cut it, to be fair, it would work. Actually, do you know what will work? 2-part die. 2-part die. Come on, Debbie.
Yes,
I'm going to cut
Debbie.
that, and that will help me frame it behind. Yeah,
Perfect.
we'll do that. We'll run that
and
through.
it doesn't matter that it's gone off the edge of the picture, does it?
No, not at all, because if you think about where it fits, that's all you need to just think about when you're popping that down.
Yeah.
How many minutes, Charlotte? Oh, my days. Well,
this is going to be a value for money show. Laurie
Yes.
says no panic, no panic. No,
No panic, no panic, she
We're going
says.
to get to the point where Debbie has composed her creation.
I did say at home it took me more than 2 hours to do this. I did say that. And I do try and time it, but it's like you said, Karen, sometimes it's difficult with the projects that we've got, and I never like rushing my stitching. I will stick this down in a second, but this is just to show you how to frame all of that up, and it's about adding that layering, adding that texture, adding what sentiment it is that you want. And I've got a few gems that I'm going to pop in, where I'm just going to pop them along the bottom there as well. Even that up.
It's all the different textures, isn't it?
It is. That's what, for me, what a scrapbook page is about. You can have uniform, but sometimes just adding, and I will stick it down with the lady the right way up.
Thank you so much. Right, now that will become demo of the show. So we do need it finished, please, Debbie, so that we can put it into the vote for tonight after we have done our next show, which is coming up at 6 p.m. or 1 p.m. Eastern time. And we're going to have another look at our mindfulness, and we're going to look again at our lattice folding, our iris folding, and then our 2 lots of pens. We're going to look at the classiques and the illustrators. So we're going to have lots and lots to get through. It's going to be another jam-packed show to get through all of that in an hour. So if you can join us back, Debbie will finish getting that stuck down. Hopefully you can if quickly Charlotte can just go to the overhead. As you can see, Debbie's got it all there ready. Look at that, absolutely perfect. Looks gorgeous, and we'll get it all stuck down, and then we'll show you the finished result when we come back at 6 p.m. and it becomes our second entrant into demo of the day. So thank you for joining us, thank you for sticking with us, and I hope you've got some inspiration on how to use these dies. Took away some of the inspiration about colouring them, using your sparkle threads, loads and loads of top tips, and we will see you in 2 hours at 6 p.m. So until then, keep safe and keep warm, and we'll see you in a bit. Bye.